Well, hi there, food friends. It's Kevin, and welcome to Cavalcade of Food. And yep, we are back in the old cookbook library here at the Cavalcade, and a continuation of our cookbook series. And so I thought today I would share with you some of the volumes that I was able to just pull off the shelves here in relatively short order. I didn't get them all, but I got enough to give you an idea. Cookbooks from the Farm Journal. The Farm Journal cookbook series, and the Farm Journal, which is still in publication, is a magazine. Its first issue was in March of 1877. How's that for long running? And the Farm Journal was founded by a guy named Wilmer Atkinson, who was a Quaker farmer in Pennsylvania. And he started a magazine basically for farmers and to help those in the business of agriculture, as well as talking about and addressing the issues around agricultural work, life, and culture. And the Farm Journal was born. By the mid-1950s, the Farm Journal had more than 6 million subscribers. So it was no small niche publication, although unfortunately our percentage of people who work in agriculture has continued to decrease. It's a fairly small amount these days because so much of our agriculture now is corporate. But this magazine had quite a circulation in its time, and among the things that were covered in the magazine were recipes and discussions by some women editors at the Farm Journal about domestic life on the farm and the life of the farm wife or the farm woman. And so through all these publications that came out of the Farm Journal, there was a sort of a home testing department, and they always published recipes. Well, in 1959, they published this, Farm Journal's Country Cookbook. And it's a pretty good-sized book, published by Doubleday, so a very large publishing house printed this book. And they also printed here, I have a 1959 softcover edition of this same cookbook. And just great illustrations on the jacket here of this cookbook. And this is the deluxe edition, and the price on the inside says $5.95. Now, they didn't advertise these cookbooks other than having ads in the magazine, the Farm Journal. And so a lot of these, most of them actually, were ordered through the magazine. Had a little order form, and you could send in your money order or check or whatever and get your copy of the book. In urban areas, however, a number of bookstores would carry these too. Again, they were an imprint of Doubleday Publishing, so they were coming from a major publishing house. But let me just read you the part of the inside jacket here of this first edition, the 1959 Farm Journal's Country Cookbook. It includes 32 pages of full-color illustrations, more than 1,000 recipes. Some of our most mouth-watering, delicious foods come from America Farm Kitchens. Here, for the first time, the Farm Journal magazine has brought together in a big, handsome book hundreds of these succulent, flavorful recipes that have appeared in the magazine over the years to delight farm and city folk alike. Almost everyone has memories of what Grandma used to make. Things like oven apple butter, bean pot beans, mince pies. And then there are the regional foods that have become famous: Boston cream pie, Philadelphia sticky buns, the South's pecan tarts, Brunswick stew, and Sally Lunn. And it goes on and on. Old-fashioned dishes, company specials, make-ahead dishes, quick and easy, money-making dishes. There's chapters on cooking for large groups, barbecues, church and school suppers, picnics, weddings, and anniversaries. The chapter with recipes by guest cooks in the Farm Journal kitchen includes some of the best regional dishes to be found anywhere. Other chapters are built around staple foods that both farm families and city families use regularly, such as chicken and poultry, meat, eggs, milk, cheese, vegetables, apples, potatoes, butters, and cream. So here it is. And, you know, there was always this kind of idea in American cooking that if you were eating down on the farm, you were eating some good food. You know, big urban cities had fancy cuisine and lots of variety in terms of ethnic restaurants. But if you wanted good home cooking, that could always be found in a farmhouse. And that, of course, you know, assumed that all farm cooks were great. A lot of them were, and a lot of them had access to really wonderful ingredients, fresh vegetables and eggs and milk and things of that nature. And I think that's why, especially those of us who grew up in the city, always felt that, you know, to eat out on a farm was like an absolute delight to be able to get that food. If you grew up in a rural area or on a farm, share in the comments the kind of food you had. A lot of articles in the Farm Journal talked about how the farm wives, women on the farm, had to cook meals not just for the family, but often as well for the hired hands, the farm hands who worked there. That one hot meal a day was often part of the wage that these men generally earned. And sometimes, you know, it could be just a couple, or it could be dozens of farm hands that had to be fed. And this was hard manual labor that they were doing. So these were hearty meals. You know, they weren't eating salads, let me tell you, okay? So anyways, here's the Farm Journal's Country Cookbook. I have prepared a number of recipes out of this book over the years, and they are great. And it's not an uncommon cookbook, by the way. Perhaps, especially here in the Midwest, East, and South, I think you will find this is a fairly accessible book if you want to keep your eye out for it. In 1972, they revised it. This is a later edition, and they took some recipes out, they put some new recipes in, and this is revised enlarged edition, and this is from 1972, but the spirit of the book is still the same, and it is a very nice edition. And so you might find this one, Farm Journal's Country Cookbook. So, all right, that's the foundation for the Farm Country Cookbooks. But it spun off a whole series of cookbooks over the next 2, 3 decades that the Farm Journal put out. A lot of them were a sort of, and we saw this in other cookbooks, a reprinting of recipes that were already in this big cookbook. But they did a lot of specialty cookbooks, a lot, and I have most of them. And so let's take a look at some of these. Here is the Farm Journal's Homemade Candy cookbook. And this, by the editors of the Farm Journal, this is from 1970. This is really all homemade candies. It's so funny how people talk about something people don't make anymore at home is candy. I'm going to try to do some candy recipes, I think, on Cavalcade of Food. That's something that I haven't done either, frankly, and I'll look forward to it. There's about 3 or 4 pages on different kinds of divinity, actually, in here, and so many other. Here's a fruit nut sausage candy, bologna candy. Please tell me there's no bologna in it. No, there's not. Okay, but I guess it looks like bologna, so maybe that's why they call it that. But anyways, meringues, all kinds of. This is the candy. Then one that is a go-to for me many times, and this was probably one of their most popular specialty cookbooks, is the Farm Journal's Complete Pie Cookbook. I really love this cookbook. This is 1965. There is every possible pie you can imagine, and some you probably even can't, that are in here. And I think pies were probably on a lot of family farms, pies were probably a staple because you often had access to fresh fruits and rhubarb, things like that, that you could make pies from. But just in this book alone, there's a whole chapter on pie crusts. So many variations on crusts. Crusts that use shortening, crusts that use lard, crusts that use oil, crusts that use, you name it, butter, all kinds of vinegar, all kinds of variations on pie crust pastry dough. This is the pie cookbook. Here's one from 1973, and this one is Farm Journal Informal Entertaining Country Style. And this is very much to give you some ideas about dishes that go well together to sort of make a complete and interesting presentation. 100 exciting menus to suit every type of informal entertaining from morning to midnight. Each one has its own timetable and recipes. So, if you're having a party, just a nice kind of reference to put together different kinds of dishes, mostly served in a buffet style. Here's one that I like, and here is the Farm Journal's 666 Ways to Make Vegetables Irresistible. America's Best Vegetable Recipes. So these recipes, again, were compiled by the editors of the Farm Bureau. They had a kitchen, and where they got their recipes from was from their readership. These were from people, mostly women, who lived on farms and who cooked every day. And, again, if we're thinking about farms, is there going to be a vegetable on the table? Oh, you bet, and probably more than one. And it is a great way to think about preparing different kinds of vegetables in perhaps new ways. It also has a great chapter on sauces and salad dressings. So, another good volume. Another, I'm going to sound like I'm repeating myself, another great Farm Journal specialty cookbook, Homemade Bread, a cookbook not particularly large, but just about 150 pages, all breads. And, you know, we start here with just the general white bread every day, and then, you know, it goes into variations, whole wheat, rye, things of that nature, and then all other kinds of bread, including quick breads and the like. And very nice volume. If you ever find this and you have an interest in bread and bread making, this is one you're going to want in your library. Here is the Farm Journal's Country Fair Cookbook, 1975. Every recipe a blue ribbon winner. Farm women who are champion bakers enter their finest at the fairs. Brown-crusted loaves of bread, tea rings and kuchen, feathery rolls and biscuits, family and party cakes, flaky pies, fruited tea breads, puffy glazed donuts. In this cookbook, you'll find 300 all-new recipes, every one a prize winner. Well, how do you not get excited about that? And again, devil's food cake, butterscotch cake, mile-high buttermilk cake. Sign me up for that. Lemon cream roll. I mean, I'm just doing Danish apple bars. Pineapple oatmeal bars. Yep. Okay. I'm going to bookmark that one because we're making that. And you can see why this is one of my favorite rooms in the whole world, because I pick up books at random and I just start flipping, and all of a sudden you've got all kinds of ideas. But this is a good one. Here's one. No jacket. The jacket is long gone, unfortunately. But this is the Farm Journal's Busy Women's Cookbook, 1971. And it kind of is, here's a photo on the inside, and here it shows she's pouring a can of canned tomatoes over what looks to be like a meatloaf. And so step savers and time savers for the busy woman. Look at that. Melting marshmallows float atop spiced steamer, a hot milk drink sweetened with spiced syrup. Keep a supply of this syrup in your refrigerator for speedy use. So here's for the busy woman. Cookbook just for her. From the editors of the Farm Journal, 1971, Homemade Cookies. And so many different cookbooks did cookies. You know, certainly Betty Crocker and Pillsbury and Better Homes and Gardens, but a lot of others did too. And here's, the pictures are terrific in these. And we've got a bookmark here for something, not sure which one they wanted to try. But anyways, so here is a one on cookbook just on cookies. And it does call out a woman by the name of Nell B. Nichols. And she was the field food editor for the Farm Journal for decades. And she was responsible for assembling a lot of these books. And my understanding is she also tested a lot of the recipes herself. She actually was a home economist and had a degree in home economics, but also studied journalism. And what she really wanted to do was write. So she had the background knowledge of uh, home economics, but she was also a journalist, and she worked for the Farm Bureau for a long time, and you'll see her name on a lot of these cookbooks. Now, look at this one. This baby is just loaded with loose recipes, loaded with them. And this one, oh, this is the cookie book. I'm sorry. So we've already looked at the cookie book, and I didn't realize this was a duplicate. But here's a handwritten recipe for refrigerator cookies. Here is easy oat and nut-filled cookies, written in cursive on a piece of paper. So anyways, another one. Okay. Here we've got family favorites from country kitchens, and collected and tested by the food editors of the Farm Journal. This one is edited by Elise Manning, who was another, I think she came after Nell Nichols. I think it was Elise Manning took the reins, and this is a 1973 edition. And again, family favorites from country kitchens. Great cooks share their recipes, more than 450 outstanding tried and true dishes. Meat dishes that men like, marvelous muffins, rolls, breads, choice chicken dishes, salads, mother's best pies, cake, cookies, etc. I just happened to open to a page at random. There's 3 recipes here. Hot Frank potato salad, creamy potato salad, and lima beans au gratin. How about that? I actually love lima beans. I might give that one a try. Farm Journal's Cook It Your Way. This is another Nell Nichols editor, and this is 1979. So Cook It Your Way is a variety of recipes that can be cooked in the oven, on the range top, or in the microwave, which, okay, this is again 1979. So microwaves are making their way out to the farm kitchens too, just like they were in the city. And so you had microwave recipes in here, as well as pressure cooker recipes and things like that. Farm Journal's Cook It Your Way. Farm Journal Best Ever Recipes. So this is sort of a compilation of recipes that appeared in Farm Journal magazine and cookbooks that are selected as top choice. They give a few examples on the back. Fudge cake, refrigerator mashed potatoes, lemon meringue pie, rich hot rolls, frozen fruit salad dessert, blender ketchup, a cinch to make and it tastes so good, watermelon pickles. So yeah, so this is sort of a best of the best. This was printed in 1977, so this is a later one. But on the page here, they talk about recipes in this book were selected by homemakers from the following Farm Journal cookbooks. And you probably can't see it, but it's a whole list of cookbooks, and about 25 cookbooks. Okay, they had about 25 special cookbooks that all came off of the country cooking. Farm Journal Cooking for Company. This one, 1968. So this is in the farm tradition. You're having company, and that means you serve your best, as I think all of us always want to do when we have company coming. And I know I still carry out the tradition. If it's company, we are going to use the nice china, and we are going to put a nice tablecloth on the table, and we are going to make it a special occasion for company. And so, how to fix and serve food that looks and tastes wonderful, that your guests will praise. Tested recipes for every occasion: sit-down dinners, buffets, coffee get-togethers, women's luncheons, barbecues, teen snacks. Special recipes for big doings: family reunions, receptions, open houses, community suppers. So here's Cooking for Company, and it's a nice book. And then towards the end of the line here, this is from 1982, they kind of went with a larger format because this format had become kind of popular. Better Homes and Gardens and Betty Crocker were putting out cookbooks sort of in this format. And this one is Farm Journal's Picnic and Barbecue Cookbook. So gave you a sampling of different menus for cooking outdoors on the grill or for taking to a picnic or party. So anyways, a nice one. All great, and here's the cookbook that started the series was the Farm Journal's Country Cookbook. If you've got a Farm Journal cookbook in your collection, share it in the comments. Which one do you have, or which ones do you have? What's been wonderful about doing this cookbook series is so many of you have shared with me that you also love cookbooks and you also collect cookbooks, and how much you enjoy looking through them and discovering recipes and new, old methods of preparing foods and entertaining. So if you are a fan of the Farm Journal cookbooks, and if you have any in your collection, I'd love to know which ones are on your bookshelf. So, thank you for spending this time with me for another in the Classic Cookbook series. And please, if you are interested, I will encourage you to check out the website, which is cavalcadeoffood.com. I'm also going to put the Instagram address there if you are on Instagram and want to follow us there. And I would just say I appreciate your time. I hope everyone is having a wonderful spring. It's finally warming up in Michigan. Glad to see it. Things are turning green. The leaves are budding out on the trees, and it's a wonderful time of year. So take care, everyone. Be well, and we'll see you back here again real soon on Cavalcade of Food. Bye, everybody.